Today is November 21st, 2023. The time is 5:34 a.m. Today I'd like to give my thoughts on the status of the Israeli conflict with Hamas. And I'm starting today with the Times of Israel. The article titled Evidence Shows Hamas Likely Used North Korean Weapons in Attack on Israel. This article is dated October 19th, 2023. And it says here Hamas terrorists likely fired North Korean weapons during their murderous October 7th assault on Israel that killed over 1,400 people. A Hamas video and weapons seized by Israel show, despite Pyongyang's denials, that it sells arms to the terror group that rules the Gaza Strip. These are the weapons. It says suspected North Korean made F-7 rocket propelled grenades, many with a distinctive red stripe on their warhead, are seen at an Israeli military base in southern Israel, October 15, 2023. Hamas terrorists likely used North Korean manufactured rocket propelled grenades during their unprecedented assault on Israel that killed over 1,400 people and saw scores taken hostage, despite Pyongyang denying its weapons arm the terror group. So we see here, and this is a good thing that the Israeli defense, were able to get these weapons out of the hands of Hamas. So these weapons have been confiscated. That's the good news. And I want you to see the distance. I have to ask the question, how did Hamas get the weapons from North Korea to Gaza? And why do I ask that question? It's because there's this right here is Gaza. And you see how small Gaza is. If you pull it out, you see greater Israel, the West Bank, and then you see Gaza Strip right here. And where this red point here is, this is the Rafah border crossing. So that's one point of entrance from Egypt into Gaza. Another point is the Karim Shalom checkpoint, and this checkpoint is controlled exclusively by Israel. Also, we have in Gaza the checkpoint Ezra, and this is also controlled by Israel. And then here's the port, which is also heavily monitored by Israel. So I have to ask the question, how did Hamas, number one, communicate with North Korea to get the weapons, this cachet of weapons? How did they get them all here? How did they get them here? And like I can't understand how they got them from North Korea to Gaza. Moving forward here, we also have this another article here. This is dated October 15th, and this is part of that same article I showed you before. It says identifying Hamas weapons and intelligence files in southern Israel. Okay. And it says here, the IDF has found Hamas weapons left behind, as well as hundreds of documents and certificates have been recovered alongside an array of mobile devices, communication tools, and cameras in southern Israel. It says, as the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza persists, the Israeli Defense Force has revealed the discovery of a significant intelligence cache from the Hamas assault on southern Israel. Within this cache, there lies a wealth of crucial information, including operating manuals for Hamas militants, operational plans, satellite phones, contact methods, and encrypted numbers linked to the terrorist organization. Hundreds of documents and certificates have been recovered, alongside an array of mobile devices, communication tools, and cameras. Look at all the weapons. The Israeli Defense Force Amshat unit, specializing in collecting documents and technical spoils, has played a pivotal role in this discovery, as has the Yalam unit. From this trove, dozens of intelligence reports have been carefully compiled and shared with Israeli Defense Force units actively engaged in the ongoing conflict. Over the weekend, members of a reserve unit gathered at the 8200 headquarters in Gilead, commencing a complex endeavor focusing on researching, analyzing, and investigating the captured materials. The extensive haul included documents, mobile phones, certificates, and additional items, unveils the scope of Hamas operation within Israeli territories. Among the documents discovered are detailed attack orders concentrating on kibbutzim surrounding the Gaza Strip, shedding light on Hamas' intention to carry out terrorist attacks targeting both civilians and soldiers. The trove also includes a brochure outlining the involved forces, coordinated actions, attack phases, and specific code words. Moreover, it details the treatment and handling of hostages within surrounding settlements. And they captured intelligence about how the hostages would be treated. And we find here that one of the hostages confirms this. And I'll just read a little bit of it. It says, I went through hell. Release Hamas hostage describes being kidnapped, taken into tunnel system. An Israeli hostage released by Hamas has described her ordeal after she was kidnapped by gunmen and taken into a tunnel system in Gaza. It says Yoshev Lishev, a frail 85-year-old grandmother who was one of two hostages released by Hamas on Monday, recounted the moment that militants snatched her from her home in the kibbutz of Near Oz and drove her away on a motorbike towards Gaza, a painful act during which she said she was beaten and sustained bruises. Lishville says she was forced to walk on wet ground and descended into an underground tunnel system she likened to a spider web, where she was greeted by people who told us we believe in the Quran and promised not to harm her and her fellow hostages. Lish's daughter Sharon, who helped convey her mother's comments to reporters outside a hospital in Tel Aviv on Tuesday, called it a huge network of tunnels. Lishva says she was initially grouped together with 25 other people before her captors separated her into a smaller group with four other individuals from her kibbutz. She says she slept on mattresses on the floor of the tunnels, ate the same food as the Hamas fighters, and received regular treatment from doctors during her incarceration. They really took care of the sanitary side of things so that we didn't get sick, Lishvitz said. Each of the five hostages in her group received their own doctor, and there was a paramedic present who supervised medication, she said. They were very generous to us, very kind. They kept us clean, Litchfield said. They took care of every detail. There were a lot of women, and they know about feminine hygiene. They took care of everything there. Litchfield also accused the Israeli Defense Force and Shin Bet intelligence service of not taking threats from Hamas seriously and said the costly Gaza border fence erected by Israel had done nothing to protect her community from Hamas's attack. The lack of awareness by Shin Bet and the IDF hurt us a lot, she stressed. They warned us 3 weeks beforehand. They burned fields. They sent fire balloons, and the IDF did not treat it seriously, she continued. Lishfitz explained how this culminated in the attack on Nir Oz in southern Israel on October 7th. Quote, all of a sudden, on a Saturday morning, everything was very quiet. There was a hard pounding on the settlement, Lishfitz said. Not long after, hordes of Hamas fighters broke through the kibbutz expensive fence and kept coming in their droves, she said. It was very, very difficult and unpleasant. A visibly upset Liz added. As she concluded her remarks, Sharon said her mother's feeling was that the story's not over until everybody comes back. Now, I've read quite a bit about this, but the most important thing is what I want you to understand is that they were very well taken care of, that Hamas planned this very well. They took care of all the details. And one of the things I want to stress also is that she says all of a sudden on a Saturday morning, everything was very quiet. There was a hard pounding on a settlement, and then hordes of Hamas fighters broke through kibbutz expensive fences and kept coming in their droves. She said it was very quiet. And in another kibbutz, I'm going to just play a little bit of this. I'll just go right here.
He went to our bedroom, changed the shirt, took his personal weapon, and left. I'm not sure he put any shoes. We hear the door close, and the girls ask me, "Did Dad go?" And I said, "No, Dad's not going without saying goodbye." And I sent him a message straight away, "Why did you go without saying goodbye?" But he left. He rode on his bike straight to the weaponry to take another weapon. And I stayed with the girls in the 45 room. Till that point, I thought maybe the army was around me, taking care of us, maybe, I don't know. But I realized that they weren't, so I think I realized something was very wrong because he was not answering messages at all. All we hear is shooting, red code alerts, bombs going off.
She said here, all we hear is shooting and red code alerts. Shooting and red code alerts. This hostage said everything was very quiet. She said there was shooting and red code alerts. The red code alert, this is coming from Wikipedia. The red code alert, Hebrew, is Tzeva Adom, that is red code, is an early warning radar system originally installed by the Israeli Defense Forces in several towns surrounding the Gaza Strip to warn civilians of imminent attack by rockets, usually caisson rockets, outside of areas originally serviced by the red color system. Standard air raid sirens were used to warn of rocket attacks. The system originally operated in areas around the so-called Gaza envelope, including Cedrat. When the signature of a rocket launch is detected, the system automatically activates the public broadcast warning system in nearby Israeli communities and military bases. A recorded female voice intoning the Hebrew words for red color, Tzeva Adom, is broadcast 4 times. The entire program is repeated until all rockets have impacted and no further launches are detected. The system now covers the entirety of Israel. So this person here, this survivor, says all we hear is shooting and red code alerts. So the survivor that was released from the tunnel was abducted here in Near Oz. The survivor in the video that said it was all she heard was gunshots and red code alerts lived here, and the officer, the 19-year-old officer who was killed at the Nazal air base, lived here. So this is about the track that Hamas took to commit this horrible, horrible crime. That's all I want to say for now.